Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you haven't been here before. My name is Kata, and I just want to talk today about potential. And I want to talk about potential because it is something that a lot of people don't realize how much they have within them. And a lot of people are very much ingrained in what they were told when they were a kid or when they were younger, or just in general what they were told by the people around them in their life. And I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely one of those people. I had some teachers that told me I'd never amount to anything and blah, 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 all the usual bullshit. Um, and I am definitely one to prove them wrong, and I have proved them wrong. So I want to kind of boost your own potential a little bit here with this message today, because everything that I was kind of writing down and that was kind of coming through that I felt I needed to share is a message that you need to hear right now. It's a message that you probably already know, but you need to hear. And I am here to remind you that the potential that you have within you is unlimited, and it is only up to you to bring it forth. So the first thing I actually wrote down was that you cannot discover your potential until you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And this is personal experience for sure. There are a lot of things in my life and a lot of situations in my life where I've had to push myself outside of my comfort zone in order to see what my potential even is or was. And there was obviously a lot of discomfort that came with that. It's very hard. But there is limited to no potential within the comfort zone. And that's what I discovered for myself. The more I sat in a certain comfort zone, the more I sat in a way in my life that didn't push me to, change, the harder it was actually to see potential within myself. Like I just really couldn't connect to my potential because I couldn't even see it, because I had gotten so comfortable with my comfort zone and, not expanding or pushing myself beyond that I didn't even know what I had within me. And I just recently had a huge win, and that's why I'm making this video about potential today, because once again, as a person who, was told a lot of stupid shit when I was a kid, I didn't know what I could actually achieve and accomplish in my life. And I keep proving those people and I keep proving myself wrong, because I keep expanding beyond what I thought I was capable of doing. And that's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. So strength, courage, perseverance, push through, discomfort are prerequisites of potential. So you can't even fathom without those things what you are capable of. And if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't change you. That is also something that I recognized, and I share that with my clients. And I tell my clients all the time that, if you don't hurt in some kind of way when you are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, then you're not doing it right? Because that hurt and that sort of struggle or the pain that comes with that is the evidence of you busting through a glass ceiling that you had set up for yourself or that people had set up over you. I also want to mention here, all right, my little bumblebee buddy is back. It seems to show up every single time I'm sitting on this particular bench to make a video. Not sure why, but he's cute and I don't mind him hanging out. So let's talk about age for a moment, the age factor. So keep in mind that the older you get, the more set in your ways you get, and the harder it becomes to change the comfort zone that has set in. Now, they say around age 35 is when we start to get more set in our ways. And up to about age 35, we are actually quite malleable. We are quite moldable, much more flexible, much more willing to change, to level up, to do different things. But after age 35, with each passing year, you start to get kind of more and more set, more and more ingrained in those repetitive habits, repetitive actions that you keep doing. And so it starts to become more and more challenging to break those habits and those patterns that you have. And this comes down to the way that you're thinking, the things that you're doing, the people that you're hanging out with, all levels really. So just keep that in mind. So this is why learning discipline at a young age sets you up for success later in life. And think about this for a moment. I've got some examples here I want to share. The earlier that you start training your body, for example, the more likely you are, wow, I'm in cardinal heaven right now, the more likely you are to keep it going when you're older, because that's what becomes your comfort zone, right? So those uncomfortable things that we start at an earlier age become comfortable because we get accustomed to it, we grow into it, it becomes normal for us to experience those things. And so it naturally becomes something that you want to keep going. Like look at a gymnast. A gymnast will especially if they start at a very early age, will continue doing that probably into their 30s. And then once they hit their 30s, okay, they may not keep doing it, but they will certainly stay regimented and keep their training going. They'll probably move into actually teaching at that point because they have so much experience under their belt. So the younger that you are, that you can start something that is uncomfortable and that involves discipline and that involves you growing and furthering yourself in some kind of way, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the more it sets in. And by the time you hit that 35 age, it is going to be absolutely normal and natural for you to be doing that. So another example would be like the earlier that you start eating nutrient-dense foods, the longer you will continue to eat well and the more used to it you are. So if I look at children, for example, and kids that are fed junk food, they're not going to want to eat the healthier food, the nutrient-dense foods, because they're not used to the taste. Their taste buds are not used to the flavors, right? So it's very, very important that you get children used to eating really well at an early age. Don't give them sugar like at all until I would say the age of like 10. Don't give them any sugar whatsoever, because if you didn't, then the fruits and carrots and like different things that have sugar naturally in them would taste wonderful for them, and they wouldn't even reach for anything else. They wouldn't want anything else. The only reason why kids want all the junk nowadays is because it's in their face, right? And the commercials and companies spend millions upon millions of dollars to shove it in your face and to make you crave it and want it. So another example would be the younger that you start meditation consistently, the higher the guarantee that you will do it for life. So anything that you start earlier, you have a higher likeliness of continuing it. However, age, yes, it's a factor, but you can also, and just because it becomes harder as you're older, you can still grow immensely once you start doing something consistently. I find consistency is huge. It is like the foundation of potential, actually. So potential actually begins from birth, and we grow into it and expand it through our upbringing and by personal choice. So if your upbringing didn't support your development of potential, and as a matter of fact, if you were, told by unconscious teachers that you would never amount to anything, or unconscious parents that you would never amount to anything, or that what you did was never good enough, then what you have to do is you have to use personal choice to grow your potential, because that potential was always there from the time you were born. It just wasn't fostered and nurtured by the right people or by anyone. But it is something that you can now choose to foster for yourself. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to how bad and how much you want to succeed. Cultivate your potential by doing uncomfortable things. And let me tell you from personal experience, the more, like, I had a massive business change that I did. I went from owning a physical location, a multidisciplinary wellness clinic, to running an online business. Those are two completely different worlds. Okay. And going through that process and challenging myself and pushing myself to creating this online business has been one hell of a journey. It has been hard. It has been uncomfortable. It has been challenging. It has pushed me to my limits. But where I am now, and then the wins that I'm having as a result, are absolutely amazing. And they are showing me my potential. It's like going through this process of changing my career has absolutely really revealed that potential that has been within me this entire time, but I wouldn't have known that had I not made that choice to change careers and to do something entirely different, to learn, a completely new world. Technology is a world in itself. It's like a whole realm within itself. And if you're not a tech savvy person, it can be extremely hard for you to learn all of the different functions, all the different things, all the different programs. Just think about how many passwords we have to remember nowadays for all the different apps, all the different shit that we are using constantly, right? So for for a not tech savvy person, it is really challenging. And because I'm a millennial, of course, I was born when, yes, computers were just kind of puttering along, when I was a kid. They weren't exactly doing all the crazy stuff that they're doing now. We didn't have apps. We didn't have cell phones, like smartphones the way that we have them now. So there was a lot of learning that I had to do, and massively push myself outside of my comfort zone. And I was scared to death when I initially made the choice, but I knew I had the potential within me. I knew I could learn. I knew I could figure out ways to do it. And that's really all that mattered. And that's what got me to where I am now. And now I'm able to use platforms that I never would have dreamed of knowing how to use. And it was all thanks to my own perseverance and pushing myself and being willing to go through that discomfort to learn, right? So, sorry guys, I just lost where I was here. So be willing to make mistakes, fall on your face, hit rock bottom, and have no one believe in you. Because none of that matters. Absolutely none of that matters. Because what matters most is that you believe it and that you believe in yourself unwaveringly. Like, you have to really, really believe in yourself on like next level. Because that's really, truly what expands your potential, right? So, and you'll never know what you're made of unless you're willing to learn new things, right? And that was a process, a growth process, a painful growth process that I had to go through as well. So I learned that it's very important to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is actually the magic formula for overcoming yourself. The more that I'm willing to be uncomfortable and do uncomfortable things, the more that I'm growing and the more that I'm expanding and the more that I'm realizing my potential and understanding what I'm actually truly capable of. So anything worth fighting for is hard. So just keep that in mind. Period. Like, it's no question about it. And, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Because the win afterwards, oh, it's juicy. Like, it is so tasty. It feels so good, right? When you win something and it's kind of hard won. Afterwards, you're just like, man, was that ever worth it? And it's like highly motivating. It's highly inspirational, right? So when are you going to venture outside your boring ass comfort zone to see what you're made of? That is a question that I have for you today, because I had to ask myself that question. Because at some point, you reach a level in your life where you're like, my God, my comfort zone is boring. And I am so tired and I'm so sick of the same shit over and over and experiencing the same thing, or like the same day or the same whatever over and over. At some point, you're going to reach that level. And that's when you have to really ask yourself and kick yourself in the ass and say, when am I going to make a change? When am I going to be willing to do the thing that is hard, so that I can finally get out of this comfort zone and finally make a change and finally have a new experience, even if that new experience comes with discomfort, even if it comes with, disappointment, whatever it comes with, it doesn't matter. It's like, when are you going to have the willingness to just go for it and just do it? Because, and I'm asking you this because no one's coming to save you or push you or do it for you. That is something that you have to accept again within yourself. And yes, that makes it harder. But if you accept that and just go with it, then, and you know that you are the only person that you can rely on, you will push yourself and you will achieve huge things. Huge things. So The growth test that the universe bestows upon all of us is because we are meant to do our best while we are here. So we are meant to reach our potential and cultivate potential within us. We are meant to push ourselves past boundaries constant. Every time you start to get comfortable with something, you know you're in a comfort zone, and that's when you have to start pushing yourself outside of it, because that is why the universe gives potential. That is why we are all imbued with potential. It is like a diamond that is buried within us that we have to uncover ourselves. And no one's going to dig it out for you. You got to dig out your own diamond, just like I got to dig out my own diamond, right? That's kind of the beauty of life. But when you do, and my God, when you find that diamond, you're going to be like, shit, that's beautiful. You're going to love it, and you're going to want to show it. And you know what? People are going to actually see it because it's going to sparkle from miles away, and people are just going to notice. And then they'll be like, wow, what did she do? Or what did he do? And how are they so shiny and sparkly? Don't you want to be shiny and sparkly? So the thing with potential is that you really have to start where you are. You have to use what you've got. You have to not make excuses or have pity parties for yourself. You have to accept it. It may not be easy, but you just might surprise actually yourself how some stuff, when you just really put your mind to it, becomes a lot easier than if you were to struggle and fight against it. You must persevere. You must not worry or listen to what others have to say, because no one knows what's best for you guys. 100% hands down. I have learned this the hard way from previous times in my 20s and in my 30s. I spent a lot of time listening to other people's opinions and advice and different things like that. And I really didn't listen to myself enough. And I've come to understand that really no one knows what is for your best and highest good. Only actually you know that, and you have to go through your own process. And if that means you're going to make 1,000 mistakes along the way, then that's what that means. And that's okay. And that's your journey. Okay. It's not somebody else's journey. People can say, and people often project their opinions and their own limitations upon us, right? And this is why you have to be vigilant about listening to yourself. It is also best not to tell people when you first decide to do something that is outside of your comfort zone. And especially if it's something that is outside of, character for you or outside the norm. Because people actually often don't like it when you change. Personal experience. When you go through a big transformation, a lot of people are not going to like it. They're not going to like it for multiple reasons. One, because you are now not manipulatable. You are now not as moldable as they would like you to be. You are also not the kind of person or the type of person that they want or need you to be for their comfort, right? And you also just become this person who holds up a mirror for them and shows them that, hey, like, I changed. What about you? Right? And even if you don't say that ever, and even if you don't, whatever, like, that is the automatic reaction that people have. When you change, we're reflections to each other, right? We're all mirrors for each other. And so when you change, that immediately illuminates the need for that person to also change. And that's what people actually don't like the most. So a lot of times people don't like it when you change, not so much because for yourself, but because it illuminates to them how much they actually need to change, or that how much they could change but choose not to. And their ego doesn't like that. So keep in mind, okay, and remember, guys, that people that are not willing to change themselves don't like people who do, okay? So try to steer clear of people like that. Make sure that you don't surround yourself with people like that. If you notice there are people who are very stuck in your life, hello, Mr. B, then, really try to steer clear of those people, because they're really not going to support your own change, and they're really not going to want to see what your potential is, because it'll just highlight how much they're not living their own potential to their fullest potential, right? Also keep in mind that nothing happens without your will and continuous effort. If I've learned anything about technology and about all these different apps and programs and different platforms to use when it comes to having an online business, it has been my consistency that has paid off the most, because progress is not typically something that is won overnight. It is something that you have to keep working at and working at and working at until you get to a level where you actually get it and you understand it and you become comfortable with it. That is the only way to break out of a comfort zone. It is the only way to surpass your limitations, what you know, right? So okay, and there's like two other things I want to say here, and I'm going to leave you guys with a quote. And so progress is progress, no matter how small. That's also a very, very important thing to keep in mind when you are seeking that potential within yourself. Don't be hard on yourself for the days that you're not making a lot of progress, because believe me, you're making progress every step of the way. Even the days when you're taking 2 steps backwards to take 1 step forward, you're still making progress, right? Because again, it's the consistency. It's you showing up for yourself over and over is what creates your potential. It is what expands your potential. So go and do the thing, the thing that you are most afraid of, the thing that you are thinking that you can't do is the thing that you must go and do, because that is the only way that you're going to really understand how much you are capable of. And the quote that I want to leave you guys with to close today's video is that your present circumstances don't determine where you can go. They merely determine where you start. So take care, guys. Remember that you have immense potential inside of you, and it is only up to you to bring that forth. It is only up to you to cultivate it, to expand it. Be willing to get uncomfortable. Be willing to do difficult things, and you will have success and love and money and all kinds of things that you are striving for beyond your imagination. But most of all, and what is most important actually, beyond the money and the success and all that stuff, is this incredible understanding of who you truly are and how capable you truly are. That is what comes from discovering your potential. So take care, guys. I love you all. God bless you all. And do hit a like and subscribe on your way out to support my channel, to support growth. And I will see you guys in the next one.